Hello, and welcome to this short introduction to documenting design patterns in Ardoq. This is one of 5 record types covered by our architecture records solution, the others being architecture decision records, compliance assessments, architecture standards, and exception requests. A design pattern is a reusable form of a solution to a design problem. There's a ton of literature out there explaining why architectural design patterns are a good idea, so I'm not going to repeat that here now. But it is worth spending a few moments to explain why it might be a good idea to document them in Ardoq, instead of, say, a document repository or Confluence. Making patterns or reference architectures a part of your knowledge graph allows you to connect them to related assets. This gives you a basis for analysis that can help you improve your asset library and understand the value it is bringing to your organization. Let's take a look at the meta model and the reference types that come from the pattern component type to see how it works. It is common to relate patterns to each other. This is done with the refers to reference that allows you to link patterns to other related patterns. In this way, you can create families of related patterns, drawing the attention of users of one pattern to the other patterns that might be useful in their situation. But perhaps the more useful reference here, and the best reason for doing this in Ardoq, is the isRealizedBy reference from the pattern component to whatever component or components have implemented the pattern. Having a pattern library is one thing, but having it used is where the real benefit lies. Making your patterns part of the graph enables you to record where the patterns have been used and analyze that usage. From the pattern perspective, you can track which patterns are used a lot and which ones not at all. There is also useful information to be had by looking at which components have realized patterns and which have not. We leave it up to you as to which component types you choose to record that realize patterns. Project-oriented organizations might relate pattern usage to initiatives. Product-oriented organizations might be more inclined to link patterns to their products, applications, technology services and the like. And it might be worth following the graph one step further out. Which teams or owners of initiatives or applications are the ones that use patterns and which don't? Such analysis might help you develop a better education program to drive up pattern usage. Before we see some examples, let's take a look at how a pattern is described in Ardoq. This is the book that started it all. Christopher Alexander was a real architect, and his book on architectural design patterns was an instant hit, and quickly sparked interest beyond the domain of architecture. Software designers and architects were quick to spot the value of patterns. In his book, Alexander introduced a language for describing patterns, and with minor variations, you'll find the same pattern language in use wherever you come across design patterns. You can think of the language as a template, and in Ardoq we break the different sections of the template into fields in the pattern component, mostly text paragraph fields. In fact, all of the component types in our architecture records solution are based on the Alexandrian pattern language with minor variations. You can make it easy for colleagues to add or update patterns by publishing this survey browser. Let's pick one from our green software patterns library to see how the pattern language and the template look in an Ardoq survey. And we can see here how easy it is for users to explore the pattern library in a variety of ways. With the survey browser, if you want to make it easy to crowdsource your pattern library, or with the table view if you just want people to browse the content. If you have diagrams you want to incorporate in your pattern descriptions, there's a URL field where you can add a link, or you can directly add a diagram with the Lucidchart integration if you use that tool for your diagrams. And of course, you can publish your pattern library in Discover to make it easy to access for those who are not core Ardoq platform users. That's all there is to documenting patterns in Ardoq. I'd like to finish with an example of how use of patterns might feature in your use of Ardoq to govern solution architecture. Peer reviews of solution architectures, perhaps conducted by an architecture review board, are a good way to assure architectural quality. A single-page view of a solution architecture is a great starting point for such a review. Here we see a C4 model representation of a proposed solution called SmartChat. we can see the solution container diagram in the center, and around it we can see the technology choices that are being proposed, indicating which ones are approved standards or not. We can see some of the architectural decision records, some documented technical debt, and the team have recorded 3 patterns that they propose to implement as part of their design. We can also see here that a detailed solution health check has been conducted, assessing the design against the ISO 25010 quality model. So, documenting and recording your use of architecture design patterns in Ardoq can play a valuable role in your overall solution architecture governance, contributing to design reviews and the overall assurance of your enterprise architecture. I hope this has been a useful introduction to documenting design patterns in Ardoq. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.